27. I screwed up on the day count yesterday, and I corrected it in editing, or when I was uploading. But anyway, it's going on about 11 o'clock. Kaylee and I just got home. We went down to Harbor Freight. I picked up more air hoses. I got to go out in the shop and get air fittings on. Then I think we're going to get out here. The air hose runs from in there up and over and to the jumping snake. So I've got to get it installed and the wall sealed back up, which we'll do in a little while. But I've got some maintenance of my own I need to attend to in two areas. The first one we're going to tackle is I got two buckets out here, both of them full of junk, you know, miscellaneous tools I need to use for one thing or another that I'm done with that should be put away. So I'm going to go through, sort through my buckets, get things figured out what I what I'm going to need out here for stage 4 and what I don't need out here for stage 4. And the stuff I don't need, we're going to go in the shop. And that leads me to the other mess. I've got to get the fittings on the air hoses, and I picked up several of them. And my shop's a disaster area. I'm having trouble finding things on the table, so I'm going to take a little bit of time. Probably going to take me about a half hour, if that, to go through the shop and get the tools put away. I'm not worried about the garbage on the floor. I just need to have access to my tables and being able to find things. So we're going to take a little bit of time and get that taken care of this morning. Then we'll get out here in the haunt, and we're going to start dealing with those tubs and going through them. So give us a little bit here, and I will cover what's in the tubs after I get my cleanup done. Okay, got my bucket cleaned up, got the shop cleaned up, we got the air hose, new air hose installed, no hissing or anything, so everything is working fine. Now we turn our attention to this mess. I've got 4 different tubs out here. This one holds mainly spots. There's just over 1,000 spots in there. And I don't use them all in the haunt, but I use a good portion of them. And there's also my very first attempt at doing floodlights. And I've rehabbed these since I've originally made them. This is a 6 LED flood light, and I got red, green, and blue in there. I also have huge tubs of them downstairs that are 12 LED floodlights, which put out way more light. And I've got them in 11 different colors, and I'll be tapping into those depending on the display. Not all the displays get the big floods, but quite a few of them do. But anyway, that's the tub we're going to end up with. That's the tub that takes the longest, because I have to go through display by display and get everything wired up, and that takes a while. This tub here has some 12-volt motors, windshield wiper motors, and all my solenoid switches. So I'll take those out and get those with their props, so they're there when I get into their displays. I can get them hooked up. The power supply for the Obelisk that has a PWM on it, the pulse width modulator, should be in that tub as well. If not, it could be in one more tub that's still downstairs. This tub, the whole tub just goes out. This is basically water, room, and clown. And it's stuff that goes in the ponds. I've got a pump in there and what have you. But like this here, I'm going to get a better angle of it, is a water blaster. What it is a PVC pipe that we put at the bottom of a pond. It sits up about 4 inches. My ponds are 10 inches deep, so there's about 6 inches of water above it. And we hook it up to our air hose. And what happens, I have these on a control board, which is those there, and I'll talk about those in a moment. When people trip the board, the switch lets out a quick burst of air, and this thing will send up a geyser of water into the air. Also makes a very funny farting noise when they go off if it's in low water, like 10 inches. The deeper you have these, the bigger the bang you get out of it, and the more water comes geysering out. So the deeper is better if you want a big reaction. You do have to be careful when placing these. You don't want them too close to the edge of the pond, because it will shoot the water right out of the pond in a night, and you're refilling the ponds every day. So you have to have it back a little ways from the edge. But that whole tub goes right out to the water room, because I can't put any of that in until the liners are in. Now, these here, there's two parts. There's a control board and an infrared sensor that plugs into the board. This is what trips the board. The boards are what we call, for us home hunters, that were originally with the original chat group, video chat group. We call them a Scuba Boo board. Two people came up with them, Tyler and Scuba. And this is the board here. I've got about 16 of these. I have 2 as backup, so I use 14 of these in my haunt. Each pneumatic I have gets its own board. And then I have a couple that just run displays and turn things on or off. Basically motor-driven prop. Now these are really, really handy. I've got basically Generation 1, Generation 2, and there is a Generation 3 out. I haven't bought any of the Generation 3. Generation 1 had an MP3 player that came with it. In Generation 2, it came without the MP3 player because they discontinued this MP3 player. You can't buy it anymore, and the board will not support the newer MP3 players that are out. So for, I think, about a year, 2 years, I think it was, Scuba was offering the boards without sound. I think he's got Generation 3 out that now has sound to it. That you can just simply use an SD card, pop it in, and it will play whatever track you got on there. And it plays 2 different tracks. It has an ambient track, in other words, the sound it will play when the board is not active. And then it has an active phase. When the board gets triggered, it will play the other track. I've gone and added a 10-watt amplifier to it, and when you buy the boards, all you get is just the board and the power supply for it. That's it. You don't get anything else. I went through and did up these little watertight boxes for them, and they've worked out nice. It has a spot to hook up 4 different props, and you can have them so they're on constantly, or when the board, they can go from being off to when the board's tripped to turning on for a short amount of time, then turning off, or have it constantly on and then turning off when the board is tripped. And it works out really, really, really cool. And it's a 4-button, 4-channel board. It has 4 different switches on it that hook up to here that you can program. Which makes it really, really nice. But if anyone's interested in these, you're going to have to wait until after Halloween to get any, because I know Tim, aka Scuba, is in the process of trying to get his place set up with the hurricane and everything. He's very busy, so I don't encourage anyone to bother him. But if you're on YouTube, look up Scuba Spook 1, or if you're on Facebook, send Tim Thompson a message and ask him about the Scuba Boo boards. He can give you more details on pricing and everything else, if he's even still doing them. It's been a couple years since I've bought any. He might have stopped. I don't know. I hope not, because I want to get a few more. But Scuba, I swear by these boards. They're really good. The pricing on them, last time I bought them, they were $75 each. Like I said, it just comes with the power supply and the board itself. You have to do your own enclosure or housing for it. I know I have had people buy boards from Tim, and they've sent them to me, and I've done housings for them, and it's about 30 bucks, 30, 40 bucks to do the housings on them. The containers you can get fairly cheap. Switches you can get, all the switches you can get fairly cheap. The amplifiers aren't all that bad either, but it's just time consuming, you know, and I might make a deal if someone wanted to get a bunch of them in cases and stuff. But anyway, that's down the line. Our next step out in the hunt now, for now, is getting all the boxes in, getting all the pneumatic fittings in, and then we're going to get into lighting. I got to figure out what lights go where. Well, we're moving right along. I'm at a standstill on the tube display. We got some flickering yellows up here. I got aim lights and stuff yet. Can't do any of that until it's dark. But we got both the enter hole and exit hole for this done. We got her eyes lit up, and we got that flood working. Again, I can't aim anything until it's dark. We also got in here, got all the spots and everything in. Most of them are aerial. In fact, all of them are aerial. But everything is wired and working. I do have 2 spots attached to the fence that light up the scarecrow. And I can't do those yet. In fact, this wire right there is the power wire for it. I can't do those until Swain gets done with her pumpkins. And she's in cooking dinner now. And time we get done with dinner, it's just going to be way too dark to do pumpkins. So that'll be first on the list for tomorrow. We'll get in here, get the fence in, get the lights hooked up. I will try to give you a nighttime view of this tonight with the cell phone. After I get lights and stuff to aim. And then you'll probably get another one tomorrow. Or actually, I just might hold off. No nighttime footage tonight. Scratch that. I want to wait till the display is totally done. Then we will get you some nighttime footage of that display. And as it's getting darker, it is getting a little bit brighter. But those lights, sorry, camera's shaking because I'm going through the tubes. I do gotta get those lights aimed. But there will be no nighttime footage tonight, just so you know. But I wanted to show you what we've gotten done. Like I said, Swan's gotta get the pumpkins in, and I've got 2 spotlights to wire up. I don't know how long it's gonna take her to do the pumpkins. And the spots, 10 minutes, if that. More like, you know, because I gotta get the fence mounted and everything. But I think after dinner, we're going to get over here into Spider. And if I'm alert enough, we're going to try tackling at least one of the mechs, either the jumping or the attack snake. And see if we can get them to work. I don't know if I'm going to tackle the boards. That one I'm still thinking on. But we do need to get things dialed in on those, get them hooked up to power. I'd like to get them hooked up to the boards and working. Get those done and out of the way, and then I can start on lighting in there. Okay, I know I said no nighttime view. Well, Swan made a liar out of me. I talked to her right before dinner. She had a bunch of pumpkins that she wanted to put in there. It was going to be another pumpkin pile display. And it was getting so late, she decided, well, tell you what, I'll do it first thing in the morning, that way you can close it up. And that's kind of what I was going on. I wanted to show you a completed set. Well, I went down and had dinner, came out after dinner, and she was doing it. So I chipped in and helped. We now have our first 100% done set. And I figure it's worthy of a night view. And we got a yellow flickering light. I probably should use my other cell phone for this. It's not really working too good on this one. In fact, hold on. Before we get in there, let me grab my other phone. All right, I've got my other cell phone. I've got it in selfie mode in order to record. Let's see how well it does. I don't know what the footage is going to be like with this, but we do have some yellow flickering floods in the corners. It's not enough to light up the hallway, but it's enough to let people know where the walls are, and that's all we wanted. Alright, now Bucket Mouth is done for the moment. He's on his own internal timer. Here's the pumpkin pile Sue Ann had to do. 3 or 4 wheelbarrow loads of pumpkin. And we still have some room up by the fence. We can put some more in. But we got the peepers going. We got skulls up in the tree. Even got a floating pumpkin. So, but this is our first finished set. Then they hit the exit hallway, and it's the same thing. Flickering LEDs. There's 2 of them in here. And then they come out through a curtain right here into the graveyard. So all in all, not too bad. I'm not sure what footage was like because I couldn't see the screen. I had the screen facing the way I was looking. Or the way you were looking, I should say. These tubes are great. I can get through these tubes, no problem, coming in and out. But if I try to go in the reverse order, I strangle myself. But anyway, not too bad. Now I gotta get Sue Ann out here to look at it, and we'll see what she has to say about it. Okay. I'm shooting a little extra clip here in regular mode on this camera. I'm curious to see what the other footage is like and what the footage is on this one. I know going through the tube hallway it is just dark, but in here it's doing really good. And then when they come out of the tube hallway, they're greeted by her. So you tell me which one you like. The first clip was in selfie mode. This clip is traditional. It's going off the camera on the back of the phone. And then we put 3 skulls up there. And the peepers are running. Yeah, in the tube hallway until you get right up on top of the flickering yellow. You don't see it. But we don't want it bright. We don't want people seeing what they're getting into. We want them confused in the dark. So the lights are more of a highlight in here than anything else. And I'm heading over into the spider. I'm bouncing off of walls, which is what people are going to be doing, which is what we want them to do. Now we're over into spider. Now, let me know which way you like. I have got to get the set dresser out here because she hasn't seen it with all the lights aimed. Ooh, we got spiders on the wall. Kaylee whistles in the wrap-up. We just got done moving the truck. She's all hyper. Mama went out with us. We had to put the garbage can out too. So I got her even more excited. Sorry, burping. Interesting day today. Started out with hitting Harbor Freight, got my air hoses. Ended up buying a couple of 8-foot air hoses that I needed for the for my air compressors when they're set up in the shop for shop work, not haunt work, to hook them all together. Got 25 foot and a 50 foot. We put the 50 foot in, the 25 foot I'm saving as a replacement hose in case something goes bad out here. Got that done. Got the shop cleaned up, and that took a little bit of time. Still needs to be swept, and my cutting table is just caked with little chunks of wood and sawdust. That needs to get cleaned up. I will do that at a later date because I'm not done cutting. I'm going to have more cutting to do here and there, stakes and bracing and what have you as needed. So I'll just wait till I'm totally done with that. Now we'll clean the shop up proper. Then we got out here, got the 50-foot air hose in for the jumping snake. That was the one that burst on me. And we got that mess all cleaned up and the wall put back together. I got done with that. I jumped over to the tube hallway and started messing around over there with lighting and what have you. Before I did that, we went through the tubs. Got all the brain boards out, got all the parts of the pneumatics out to their pneumatic mechanisms. They're not put in, but they're out there, so everything's together and ready to go. I got the air hoses out there and everything else, so that's done. Then we jumped into doing the lighting over in the tube hallway. As you saw on the walkthrough videos, and let me know which one you like, the first one or the second one. The first one, I had the screen pointing at what I was shooting. It was in selfie mode, but pointing that way. So I don't know what type of footage you got. I couldn't tell. When we got done with that, I turned it around and shot it regularly using the noisy-ass car. Sorry about that. But, shot it, like you normally would, where you can see the screen. And it wasn't too bad in the display, but it was nice and dark in the hallways with the tubes. Now I could add a couple of more flickering yellows to both the entrance to the pumpkin pile and the exit. Don't want to do that. We want it dark, we want it creepy in there. We only put the lights in there to help highlight walls or corners. Give people somewhere to aim for in there, because it is pitch dark in there. So the idea was not to light the hallway up, but just to give people, an idea of where to go. The display itself didn't need any floodlights or anything, really. With the wall panels in there, everything was nice and bright. So anyway, we got that done. Like I explained on the nighttime vids, Sue-Ann really shocked the hell out of me. She wasn't supposed to do the pumpkins until tomorrow morning. She ended up doing it after dinner. And I was not expecting that. So I helped her with that. And we ended up getting that display done. Because of that, I never did make it over into the spider area to do anything. So tomorrow it will be strictly spider. I'm going to go through and get both of the pneumatics, the attack spider and attack snake and the jumping snake, wired up and working as intended. Hopefully. Nothing ever works as intended. I'm always having to modify it or something. But anyway, we'll get those two props up and running, and then we'll start going through and getting lighting and stuff in over there. And hopefully by tomorrow night, spider will be done. Crossing our fingers and hoping. As far as that display goes, I can guarantee you it will not be 100% done tomorrow. Like I said, I've got the 2 pneumatics to do, and I've got lighting to do. Then I've got to get hay put in there, and then after that, I turn it over to Sue, and she's going to have a few pumpkins to put in there. We still got a crap ton of pumpkins. She's going to put a few more in there as decoration. And then she's got some last minute cobwebbing and stuff she wants to do in there as well. So I imagine it's going to take me most of the day to do the spider. It normally does, basically because of the pneumatics eat up so much time. Just like putting them together, eat up a lot of time. Getting them up and working takes a lot of time. You got to get them dialed in so they run, at the right speed and everything else. So, but anyway, tomorrow it's spider. If we can get spider done, then we're going to hop out to the front of the haunt, and we are going to start probably with the photo op, getting it wired and lit up. Do the front end, get it wired and lit up, and just kind of go from there. And we'll just start going from display to display. The photo op and the front end, I classify as 2 different displays. So, then we got the entrance hall, which is fairly simple. Then we got the photo hallway, which is complicated because of all the pictures and everything. There's a lot of wiring in there. Then we've got pirate, witch, and gypsy. Might add a little something to the courtyard too, but that ain't none of that's getting done tomorrow. I'll guarantee you that. Spider is just going to take too long. I'll probably get the photo op, the front end, and the entrance hall all done on one day. If I get out here early enough, the weather's good, and I am moving halfway coherently. But anyway, stay spooky, stay toxic.